Hello out there. Welcome to our webinar. Today we're going to be talking about getting the spa bathroom experience with radiant heating. My name is Julia Billen.
And my name isn't.
I'm the owner and chief bottle washer here at WarmlyYours, and we are celebrating 20 years in business since past April.
Very good.
Well, introduce yourself, Scotty.
I'm Scott from WarmlyYours. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for joining us today.
Now tell them a little bit about what you do, Scott.
I'm a manager of tech support here at WarmlyYours. So if you've ever called us, there's a pretty good chance that you've spoken with me. So this is what it looks like.
All right. So you do have an expert here. So throughout this whole webinar, we want this to be very engaging. Ask us your questions. We're going to be talking about a variety of products today. As a matter of fact, I think it's been a long time since we've talked about a spa experience.
Yeah, and I think today's going to have a lot of great information. So if you don't mind, I'm going to minimize is it okay if I minimize our picture and show
but we look so good today.
I know, I dressed up and everything, but I'm going to go ahead and switch this.
All right, so let's look at the presentation together. So we've talked about the intro, getting the spa experience with radiant heating. We've talked about the fact that if you have any questions, you can just simply type them in at the bottom. You want to go to the second screen. Sure. And so there, ask a question. We certainly will be giving opportunity for that throughout the presentation. So let's go over what we're going to be talking about. You want to take it away?
There's lots of great stuff here. This is what we call the webinar outline.
Okay.
And this is to get everybody pumped and ready to go because we're going to talk about radiant heating, floor heating, radiant panels, towel warmers, mirror defoggers, and LED mirrors. So there's a lot of information we're going to cover today. And we're very glad that everybody's here to travel along with us.
And most of these products you will find in the bathroom. And the reason for that is it's the one place that we're going to go to where we want to have some solitude.
Yeah, and there's a great coincidence here. Is coincidentally, we actually sell the stuff we're going to be talking about.
That's so cool.
So it's a great tie-in there.
So that bathroom experience is very personal. So as much as possible, people like to personalize that experience. It's probably the top #1 place that people remodel bathrooms and kitchens. Mm-hmm. So what are we looking to create that spa-like experience, Scotty?
Well, you want something calming, to help your ambiance, maybe relax you. Mm-hmm. Some people are into this stuff and some people may or may not be, but that's a great thing. If you like to go and if you like a spot in your house to unwind, take it easy, get your mind off of all the things that happen during the day, this is going to help you do that. So you've got that ambiance that's going to chill you out. We also want to warm you up while you're chilling out. So, there's things like standalone tubs, walk-in showers. The right lighting helps a lot, to get you.
Sure does.
Yeah. Some people, I'm old enough that I remember those old makeup mirrors that had the fluorescent lights and you dialed them and they gave you a different color.
That's back in style.
Oh, it is awesome. I'm going to go out and get one. Yeah. So there's a lot of new technology and it sounds like there's a lot of old technology back to bring that extra bit of comfort. So I think that's a very good topic for us to talk about today.
Excellent. All right. So radiant heating, all the products that we're going to be talking about today, they contribute radiant heat to the room. We're talking about bathrooms specifically because that's really where you want that comfort. You want that extra heat. But tell me the difference between, for those of us who may not be familiar, what's the difference between radiant heat and the traditional type of heating we find in most homes today?
Well, that's a great question because a lot of times with people that just order our system or our type of system for the first time ever, mm-hmm. They're always used to, forced air systems. So when they open a door, they expect to walk into like this hot air. But what's really amazing is that people will say, yeah, I walked into this and I didn't feel any hot air. Something's got to be wrong. It doesn't feel like it normally does. And then I asked them, well, how did you feel 2 minutes later? I go, well, 2 minutes later, I was really hot under the collar. I was sweating. And mm-hmm. that's because the person is actually getting warmed up, not the air. So you're warming up the items in that room. You're not necessarily heating the air first. But as those things in the room get warmer, then the air does heat up too.
Okay.
So what's great about the radiant heat in the floor
Yes.
is that.
So we're going to be talking about that
Yeah.
first. Okay.
Yeah. Look at the difference on the screen. You can tell.
So those numbers represent temperatures.
Mhm.
Okay. So yeah, I see from the floor you've got 80 degrees, and then it travels up, gets slightly cooler, but certainly not anywhere near as cool to what we're seeing with the forced air. Why is that, Scott?
Well, the air, as it warms, it goes up. So if you look at that, I'm going to use the mouse here if you don't mind.
No.
If you look here, you can see that there's a vent.
Okay.
And then that's where this is going up. The hot air
I used to sleep on that vent.
Yeah. That hot air goes immediately to the top of the room.
Yeah.
Then it cools off, and you can see it kind of bypasses you on the way to the upper part of the room. Well, you're getting hit by the air that's actually dropping.
Okay.
And coming down cooler and going back to the air return. And if you are in the Midwest or another part of the U.S. that has a basement,
Yes.
And your basement has vents up above you, well, you know exactly what we're talking about here, because the vent blows heat down about 2/3 of the room, and then it goes right back up to the ceiling, and then it goes upstairs.
Okay.
So this is actually going to allow you to heat the entire space in your room, not just the upper third.
Excellent. All right. Well, let's move forward in the presentation, and let's talk about the floor heating that you just mentioned, because in my opinion, that's the number one thing that you want in your bathroom. That's like the first mandatory, necessary thing that you have to create that spa-like experience. Of course, candles are great too,
Mhm.
but you need to walk into the room and it has to take on an experience. How does floor heating allow you to do that?
Well, especially in the summer, if you think about getting out of you can see this picture has snow in it. So that's an automatic, right? You want your floor to be warm then. But if you think about it in the summertime, when you step out of your shower or out of your bathtub, that tile still feels cold, even though it's the summertime. So once again, this is not just something that's used in the Midwest or the Northeast or the Northwest. It's something that is pretty much throughout the United States, because no matter what the temperature is of the air in your bathroom, when you get out of that tub or you get out of that shower, you want your floor to be warm.
You want to step on a warm floor. And I can't tell you how many times I've been in Florida in the summer. And I know that's a crazy idea, but when kids are off school, that's when you go. And air conditioning, as a result, those tile floors in the bathrooms are extremely uncomfortable, very cold.
Mm-hmm. And that's what you want to do. You don't want to go, okay, well, it's the winter time, so my floor will be warm, as opposed to in the summertime, well, it's cold.
Yeah.
You want it to be warm all year round.
But people like us in the Midwest, or up north, we definitely have an issue with cold floors, fall, winter, spring. Those tile and stone floors are cold. So definitely not comfortable, definitely not giving off that spa-like experience unless you add the floor heating. And we'll talk about how you install that later, but it's definitely done during the remodeling and new construction phase. And that's the number one thing that you want. You want to turn that cold floor into something that's warm, something that's inviting, something that's setting the tone for the rest of the time that you're going to spend in that room.
And you think about what kind of floors are used in bathrooms. They're usually a hard surface.
Tile and stone.
Because they're, they help with water, managing water. Nothing's really waterproof, but they do manage some of the water. And they are easy to clean, they're easy to maintain, and they're naturally going to be much colder than a carpet or hardwood or something like that. Excellent. So that's why it's paired so well with bathrooms.
Yeah, and then even further than that, in the bathroom, a lot of us don't think about the shower. Showers are very popular right now. As a matter of fact, people are eliminating bathtubs, and they're actually creating larger shower areas, curbless showers, but definitely larger shower areas. And that gets sometimes overlooked in that you might have a nice warm floor, but you walk into that shower and immediately you're hitting up against cold floors.
And don't ask me about sitting on a bench in the shower.
Oh, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
So there's a couple of things you really want to think about when you're doing your bathroom is like, hey, you know what? We need to get some heat into the shower, and we need to get some heat on the shower bench.
And you designed this product. I remember you came up with this idea years ago. Tell us how you went about going to design it.
Well, you want to pick out a size that most people use. And just like you said, some people are taking their bathtubs out and putting showers in.
Yes.
Well, that has to fit a certain footprint. And sometimes you want to match up with the existing plumbing. So if you are lucky enough to have done that, you can take a look here at this product. It's got a hole right in the center for your drain to fit. So you really don't have to take cables and try to string them back and forth. It's already built into that sort of shape. And if you look at this product on the right side, you can see that that's a really narrow, it's kind of losing its perspective, but it's a really small sized mat that's designed to sit on the top of your bench.
That's perfect, because a lot of times that bench top is some type of stone.
And it's usually 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick.
And cold.
Yep. So that's maybe the system where you want to have a bench and the shower floor on possibly its own controller if you want to, because the one thing you have to think about is in a traditional shower, you look at the height. I'm just going to get a little more in depth here, but look at the height of this shower pan.
Yeah.
Now, if that were a pan made of mud, a mud bed, you have already a 2 or 3 inch thick application, whereas here you have 1 inch thick application.
Yeah, definitely a difference.
Yeah, and the thicker
So
it is, the longer it takes to heat.
Exactly.
So that's where you may want to, and then you top that off with a bench mat, which is going under 2 inches of limestone or 2 inches of whatever. That you may want to have that on a separate system and have it come on sooner and get hotter than the rest of the floor in the bathroom. So that's why, and a lot of times we'll suggest, have a control for your bathroom and have possibly one for your shower or your bench. That way you can kind of control them independently.
That's truly luxury. And one of the things we should mention is, obviously we hope that you're a Warmly Yours loyal customer, but if not, if you're shopping around, make sure the product is wet location listed. Did I say that right?
Yep.
Wet location listed is very important. Anytime you're going into the shower, you want to make sure that that certification is there. And we definitely have those certifications and have for many years.
Yep. And that's the thing. It's a wet location listed for the US and for Canada. So, we were on the cutting edge of that. We actually had a product in the US before there was even a category for it.
That's right.
And the category finally caught up to us. And now, there is a wet location listing in the US. So yeah, these things are great. They don't need to go under any waterproof membrane unless you want to do that. So they are able to they're very flexible type installation product.
Now we're talking about mostly creating that warm floor when you're remodeling or building. But what if you're not? I'm going to segue you right into our next slide.
Well, how about that?
Oh, no, I'm not. So good, but so wrong.
Yeah, well, we were that close.
All right, so let's go over the installation process for how to put in the floor heating, and then we'll go into the next slide.
Julie, I wouldn't be a very good product manager if I didn't say before we left this slide that we have a brand new shower kit that you can buy it's a preformed pan with a drain assembly with waterproofing membranes and waterproofing strips. And also we have heating mats that are designed to fit right into those.
Yeah, we just launched that product.
So it just came out. So as I said, it would behoove me to make sure that everybody knows that.
Gets mentioned.
Yes. So please check that out on our website. So let's just go back to the installing floor heating.
Yes. So good stuff. But we've been doing this for 20 years. So how can you quickly talk me through this? I see two very different slides. I've got the blue at the bottom, the green at top. That looks like the cable at the bottom and our roll product at the top. So what do you need people to know in a nutshell? Because we really don't want to go too much into installation. But.
Well, the one thing I always tell, especially if you haven't done this before yourself, is always just give us the dimensions of your space so we can do an installation plan for you.
Okay.
Because that way our engineers who do this hundreds of times per day can actually figure it out for you and take the mystery out of, okay, where do I run this cable, or how does this thing roll out and turn and cut?
How close do I get to the
whatever,
walls
the
wax ring? So
let us design that for you. All you have to do is just get us the dimensions, and then we will get the right product for you.
But bottom line, this goes above the subfloor and under the final flooring surface. And there are multiple ways you can install the product. You can put it in an installation membrane, which is what we're showing here at the bottom. That blue is Prodeso. Or you can simply, for the top image, you can just roll it out and tack it down here or there, and then thin set over it.
Right over the top.
Yeah.
So both of them are very, very proven installation methods. They've been used for 20 years. And the thing is, if you're interested in possibly doing a waterproof room, like if you have a bathroom and you want to do a curbless shower, that's where a lot of people are going to actually the Perdeso product, the membrane, because it's waterproof.
Okay.
And then wherever there's a seam, you can run the waterproofing seams over it.
Brilliant.
And then you can waterproof the edges of the room and do the corners, inside corner and outside corner. A lot of people say, well, what's the difference between an inside corner and an outside corner? I can't picture it. Well, right there is your inside corner right here. And right here is your outside corner.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
yeah, you can get that product to make that whole room waterproof.
And that's especially important if you are doing that large shower. Maybe it's curbless. You definitely want to look into waterproofing, and we have products for that.
So however you want to approach heating your floor, well, the moral of this story is you can do it either way. And there's a lot of different ways that you can approach it. You just need to tell us what you're looking for, and then we'll tell you the best product for that.
Because we're the experts. Well, you are.
We try.
All right. So back to where I was going. If you're not remodeling, if you're not building, there is still an opportunity to get that warm floor. And that can be done with radiant panels. I like to think of this as a fireplace that is hung on the wall and positioned correctly. Will and allowed to stay on for the right amount of time. This will provide radiant heat to every surface in the room, including the floor.
Right. And I had my aha moment with this product when a friend of mine was very successful, and I went over to their house, and they had this big sunroom.
You have successful friends?
Yes, I don't know how that happens, but I went over to their house. And they had this beautiful sunroom on the back of their house, and they had this beautiful tile floor. And I go, you guys must have some great tile, some nice warm floor product here. What kind did you use? And they go, I didn't know you could heat under tiles. And I was flabbergasted. I said, well, I guess there are people that don't know that you can heat under tile to begin with. So then my first response was, well, you kind of missed the boat. And I go, what can people that just got done building this fantastic house or just remodeling all this, and they didn't know
their floors?
Yes, they love their floors. And they said, oh, I can't believe that I didn't know you could heat it. This is a perfect product for people that have kind of missed the boat, as it were, when it comes to heating. Because instead of ripping up your floor, or instead of putting a forced air thing in this particular room,
or just dealing with cold floors,
you put this in here, and it's like a bonfire. I mean, it literally, it warms you the same way the sun does, the same way as a bonfire does. It's taking hot infrared, far infrared spectrum material and getting it into objects that aren't as warm as it. It's transferring heat to colder objects. That's usually the person. A lot of times it's the walls. A lot of times it's the floors, because it'll actually heat the floor too. So the great thing is it's not a one size fit all thing. For a larger space, you need bigger units with more watts per square foot. And for smaller spaces, you can get by with smaller units. So that's the case where you say, hey, you know what? I just redid this floor. I don't want to do it, but can you tell me if there's something else I can do? And we'll find out the square footage of your room. And then by knowing the square footage of your room, we can say, oh, then you would probably use one of these infrared panels.
And then from there, you've got a radiant atmosphere in the room.
Yes.
Without having to, like you say, be in the remodeling or building process.
Right.
I love this product, as you know, because I have it in my conference room, and I sit there, and that's where I work. So,
in a blanket too.
Sad. Picture that, folks. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about how that's installed. It's not very complicated, but on that left image, that's the back of a radiant panel. And then you see the template on the right. And that is just something that gives you your guide for where to install it on the wall. These are these installed vertically and horizontally?
Yep.
So either way, depends on the space.
Right.
And then what are some other must-knows about installing the radiant panels?
Well, first of all, these photos were taken from the installation video we did. So if you're interested in installing one of these or seeing how it's done, we have a video in the Learn section of our webpage where you can go in and watch how this is done. And it's simply you take this drawing and you're able to put it up on the wall.
Tape it up, I guess, where you want it.
Where you want it. Hey, does it work here? Does it work there? How does it look? And if you notice, this one has a plug on it. So for those of you who are in an apartment, let's say that you can't install a hardwired box for the unit, you can simply plug it into an existing outlet. So that's what's so great about this. So you can orient it up and down, or You can do it horizontally, however you want to do that.
And most people do prefer a direct, wired product. And for that, I would assume it's just running on the thermostat for that room. Is that
Right.
correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
What a lot of people do is they'll install a thermostat for the room and use this simply as the heat source.
Interesting.
So you can do that too. So yeah, there's a lot of different ways you can mount this. There's hardwired and the plug-in version for those of you who can't install an electrical box. So these are really great products. And the good thing about these, if you do the plug-in version, it's very easy just to, when you're ready to move, take it off the wall, unplug it, and take it to your new location.
Now, do you have to be careful about, drilling into a stud here?
You want to go into at least one stud because that's where you're going to get your strength. And if you're doing it this way, you might as well get two screws, if you can. And the more the merrier. The more you do, the safer it'll be. Yes. So they're great products, and once again, they're not built into the house. You can take them with you when you decide to go.
Yeah, good point. All right, so that's related to mostly providing warmth to the room. Next, we're going to be talking about providing warmth to the body, in that you're stepping out of that shower, you've stepped onto a nice warm floor, the room is vibing, it's letting off that radiant heat. Now you're still wet and you're still going to be a little bit cold because there's a temperature drop. And the next thing you want to do is you want to wrap yourself into that warm towel. Right.
And the great thing about these products is there's a bunch of different ones to choose from. A bunch of different colors, different finishes, oil rub bronze, polished stainless steel, black. They range in heights from 19, almost 20 inches tall up to 59 inches tall. There's plug-in, there's hardwired, whatever your heart desires, whatever your finish is required, you can match it up with this.
That's what I'm thinking most people would be doing. They would be looking at the finishes for the faucets and the shower heads, and they would be matching to that.
Right. And that's where you get your nice warm feeling of the towels. One hint, if you're thinking about looking at a towel warmer, is when you're going to be using that towel warmer, you want to make sure that you hang the towels over the top rung. So if you're going to do two, you would put two right next to each other. Then you'd hang them from the top rung, because then you're going to have good contact all the way down the towel. The last thing you want to do is buy this towel warmer and hang a towel over the bottom rung, and all of a sudden only a section that's about 6 inches wide gets warm.
Yeah. So, and for me, I have one in my home. I have to, because it's a rule, it's a law. But how I use it is I actually keep my towel warmer on 24/7, and so that way I get out, nice and warm. I hang it up, and then it dries for me, and then it's just ready, nice and warm, day two.
Yeah, so you can. That's a great point. You can hook it up direct to power. There's a switch on it. You can just turn it on and leave it on all the time, or you can attach it to a timer. And then the timer will allow you to have it come on an hour before you take a bath or a shower, and then run for an hour afterwards. That's what a lot of people do. So there's a wide variety of control options for this too.
All right. And they install about the same way as the radiant panel, I would assume.
Yeah. And if you look here, there's one spot where the electricity goes into the wall.
Okay.
So that's where your spot is going to be. And that's what you really need to line up. You need to line up these two sides, this area
legs,
over
if
here.
You will.
Yeah, the two legs. You want those to go into a stud if you can. And then that'll allow you to place the electrical box in your wall wherever you need to, as soon as you base it off of where you're going to mount it on this side.
Now, could you flip it? I don't know if that would make sense, but just asking.
If you turn it, it would go 180 degrees. So instead of being the lower left, it'd be the upper right, or if it's in the lower right, it'd be the upper left, just by turning it around.
And again, I can just tell you from personal experience, I've been selling these products for over 20 years. And by far, the direct connect is the most popular. People want that finished look. They don't want to see that plug. But like you said, if you're in an apartment, or if you're looking to create a cost-conscious purchase, you can definitely do the plug-in.
Yep, and that way you don't have to get an electrician or anything. I mean, that's purely up to you, because if you do want to do the hardwired, an electrical box is going to need to be installed, and that may require an electrician to comply with your local code. But just want to keep that in mind. There's a lot of different colors that are available. The main thing we suggest, though, is when you're getting a towel warmer, is to install that. Don't try to prefab it or try to get a spot aligned, whatever. What you
Mhm.
really want to do is you want to wait till you get your towel warmer. You can put it together as the instructions show and then use that as a template. You can mark a template on the box that comes in. Then you can place the box on your wall and then kind of get it. Okay, where do we want it? We want it here, 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 or wherever.
Mhm.
Then once you get it, then you tape it in place and you mark the location of the legs, and that's where you go. So that's what
Nice.
we really suggest doing to make the installation go fast and easy. And that way you're not worried about the holes not lining up and that other
Right.
stuff.
Excellent. All right. And so the next thing we want to talk about is our mirror defoggers. And this is just a nuisance. You get out of the shower. Okay, you got the nice warm towel thing going. The next thing is you want to look at that mirror and you want to see that beautiful face. But a lot of times, as a result of steam, that's not happening.
Right.
So how does a product like this work?
Well, what's best is to actually just wire it to the supply that's supplying the lights in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Because that way, when you walk into the room, you turn the lights on, it'll begin to heat then.
And then that allows, it's just like, I guess, the defroster in your car.
Mhm.
Is it sort of like that?
All it's designed to do is raise the temperature of the glass that the mirror is made out of, and that area then will be mist free. Fortunately, back in the old days in the apartment I lived in, there was a hot water pipe that went right behind my mirror in the bathroom. So I always had one spot in the mirror in the bathroom that was always mist free because there was a hot water pipe behind there.
Right.
But what this is doing the same thing. It's providing heat to the glass, and that will make it so it doesn't make it foggy.
Okay, so as you can see, it comes in a variety of sizes, 11-inch by, and then it goes, up in range. But let's go to the second slide, because there's also, there's different shapes as well, as you can see here. So if you wanted an oval, that's possible. And this installs directly behind the glass.
Right. Directly to the back of the mirror. That's what gives you the good heat transfer. So what you want to do is the reason why we're showing that in the installation manual, it shows you where the spot is that the power comes out of.
Okay.
So that way, okay, I'm this tall, my significant other is this tall. We want to make sure that that area is heated for both of us, especially for her.
Exactly. I was just going to say.
Especially for her. If not, I can bend over, but she, can't get up high enough to see.
Right.
So that's where you want to make sure that you mark the location on the wall where you want the mirror. Then where the mirror is, you want to mark the location of where both of your faces or the majority of the faces in your family will fit.
You could even have two sizes side by side.
Mhm.
The similar sizes, I
Right.
think, would look better, but you could do side by side.
Yeah. And the thing is, then at that point, where it's going to be. Then you can say, okay, here's where the power is going to come out. Here's where the electrical box needs to go.
And most people just connect this right to the light switch.
Mhm. Right.
Doesn't need to be on its own timer.
Nope.
Just put it, you turn on the lights
And it goes on.
It goes on. Very quick to warm up.
Mhm.
So you don't really have to have it on a timer. And it does the purpose very efficiently, very quickly.
It's a no-brainer. Once it's there, it's like, boom,
Yeah.
done. You'll go, wow, this is really nice. After about the fourth or fifth time you use it, it's like, you know what? Everything is all foggy except this one spot. It looks great.
All right. So mirror defoggers. And then the latest and greatest thing that people are putting in their bathrooms are these LED mirrors. Now, this is a beautiful way to add that accent lighting that you were talking about right at the top of the webinar, where you said lighting is definitely a factor in creating that spa-like experience, that ambiance. So is that why these are so popular, you think?
Where these are really popular are really nice hotels.
Yeah.
I mean, you see these in every nice hotel you go into. They have these mirrors because they just give you the feeling of luxury. It's really just a mirror with LEDs behind it, right?
Yeah, but
it's
a statement
But it's
piece.
really, really cool. And
Yeah.
it really adds a nice touch of bling to the bathroom. And it also gives you some nice accent lighting. So really they're really coming on strong, and they're everywhere.
Now, I know, again, like radiant panels, these can be installed horizontally or vertically. They add that beautiful additional accent lighting, but do they defog?
These don't. These particular ones do not have
Okay.
the defog. And the thing about that is the LED, in the old days, if these were light bulbs,
Mm-hmm.
then they would get warm. They'd get hot. But these LEDs stay nice and cool all the time, which means they're going to last for a really long time. I think it's like 50,000 hours of
Well,
operational life or more.
that's a lot of time in the
Yeah,
bathroom.
Yeah. So, I mean, you'd be tough to max out those. Yeah, definitely.
All right, but that is a product line that we offer that definitely adds to that ambience. So installing them, very similar, I would assume, to the radiant panel, the towel warmers. These, again, would be on a light switch. You ideally would want to find a stud, at least one. Any other little helpful hints you can think of for the LEDs?
Just once again, the power is the most important thing. You're going to mock up where this is and find the location of the power, because that's where a box is going to go. And you need to do that right away. You need to get that box in there. And then once you do that, that's the most difficult part, because the other part is you just simply mount it to the wall. You know, you have somebody hold it while you make your power connections, and you put it on the wall and you're done.
So you'd have to find a friend, Scott.
Yes. Yeah. It'd probably take me longer to find a friend than to actually install it.
All right. Let's move on. Oh, this is your part. You like to always add this in.
Well, this is great because we always think, because we're a nationwide company, multinational company, we think in the national realm. We think of the National Electric Code. So we try to make our products comply with that National Electric Code.
We don't try, we do.
Yeah. But the thing is, always check with the local code, because sometimes the local code is more lax.
Yeah.
Sometimes there is no local code, and sometimes it's more stringent.
That's true.
We always want to make sure that you install it in compliance with your local code. So that's always very, very important to do that. And whenever you're hooking up to a circuit, we always suggest that you have a certified electrician do that, because it's better safe than sorry.
Agree. All right. So that's it, my friends. Not too long to go through all of the different products that you can find for the bathroom. We've been doing this a long time, and I can tell you that 70% of the time, floor heating is installed in a bathroom. So most people are looking to put that into their bathrooms to really create that spa-like experience. And then the rest of the products, just kind of came along with it. So
when you're thinking about redoing your bathroom, think about not only, you always get caught up in what the color of the tile, how do the glass doors fit in, all this other stuff. Think about what you're going to be touching and what you're going to be standing on and what you're going to be interacting with in that bathroom. Because once you realize that, it's like, I'm going to be grabbing a towel. I'm going to be stepping on the floor. I may have already done the floor. The floor looks great, but I want to redo the shower. Then that's where you're going to want to possibly go to a radiant panel. Or, you know what, let's get a mirror in here. So all these things that you interact with you need to think about those when you're planning your room. So that's why we wanted to do this today, to let you know there's more to it than just the tile, and more to it than just the fixtures, that sort of thing.
Trying to figure out what a bidet is.
Yeah, exactly. When I moved into my house, that's all I had was the bidet. They had taken the toilet out. So
Brilliant.
It was fantastic.
Well, that's a great note to end on. So we do this once a month, second Thursday of every month at 1 p.m. Central Time. We hope that you'll join us in the future. Coming up next, we're going to be talking about our new Cosmopolitan towel warmer collection. So we'll really be focused on those towel warmers, and that is a dealer exclusive. So if you're a kitchen and bath showroom, this is definitely the webinar for you.
And also, that is the 13th of June, which is the day before Flag Day. So I know Flag Day shows up on everybody's calendar. So just go, okay, the day before that, I need to learn about towel warmers.
All righty. And we always like to tell you what's happening in terms of promotions, but we do have a towel warmer on promotion, the Metropolitan, 25% off. So check it out. And then
visit us
because we're going to ask for your feedback. One of the things that I love to know is, what are you interested in learning about? What you want to hear about? What's trending that you think we should talk about?
Yeah, the most important thing is, if you find this interesting, give us more interesting things to talk about.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, guys. And the buck stops here. So my email is there, jbillen@warmlyyours.com. Email me. Feel free to call as well. We're on the internet too. Did you know that we're on the internet? I didn't.
Yeah. WarmlyYours.com. Yeah. Check that out.
And this guy's here 24/7. I like to talk about that. So if you have any problems anytime, feel free to give our technical support hotline a call.
We did get a question from Catherine right here at the very end. Can you put the radiant panels in the shower?
Absolutely not.
They're they're line voltage. They're 120 volts. So
Great question.
yeah,
Great question.
very good question.
But
And
unfortunately not.
I would not want to stand in that shower. But thank you, Catherine.
All right, guys. So that's it from us. And until next time.
I think let me hit this last one.
Until next time.
Stay warm and be
radiant.
Thanks, everybody.
Jazz hands.
Yeah, yeah.